So that makes sense why the grocery is always closed on Mondays.
Yeah.
It's all for repair day.
We used to be open on Monday, but closed on Sunday. But because I was like, oh, that's a nice, many people aren't doing stuff. But I realized, like, being open, I need to get to the bank. I need to go my own grocery shopping for my house. And you can't do any of that, you know. Yeah. So we just ended up flip-flopping. And it was the best thing we had done in a while.
Some Sundays are pretty huge now.
Yeah. We kill it on Sundays. I'm seeing enough motion right now to be open on Mondays too. But I just can't do 7 days a week. It's just, you know, it's like when if you have a kid and you send them off to someone else's house to spend the night and you're all worried about them the whole time. I need that one day where I'm not worried about it burning down, going crazy, you know, something like that. I just need that one day where, like.
Do you have cameras?
Yeah, I don't have them on my phone or any of that.
But you don't stay like super. There's people that I have that's like.
It ruined. I did it for a minute and it ruined me. I was.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about.
When they were on your phone.
Yeah, checking too much, and then I'm like, why did he put the pencil right there? That's not where the pencils go. I'm gonna call him. You know, I'm like, what am I doing? Yeah, it made me not a good person after a while, like too overbearing. I think. I
had a buddy. I'm not gonna say his place, but he would always just sit in his little office and watch cameras.
Mm-hmm.
You go to his house and watch cameras. And it's like it's just there comes to a point where I was thinking like, yeah, you're probably going to go mad.
You'll get absorbed by it for sure. Because like we have a monitor with our cameras in the office, and I'll just catch myself zoning out looking at it for 30 minutes, and I could just walk up front. It's 19 steps to walk up front and actually be in the moment. But instead, I'll be like, oh, what are we doing over here? What's going on? Oh, they got the chicken plate. That's weird.
Okay. I mean, you also you also approach your restaurant. You know, kind of like if you didn't see you around at your events, you probably wouldn't know it's your place.
I try, I just never really like limelight kind of stuff, like, I don't know if that's self-preservation or what, but I just don't, I never really I love being associated with that business. I'm super proud of it. I love the grocery, been, 20 years doing it, but I just never really liked all the other stuff, like I don't like being in the center of attention kind of thing. I just want to do the thing. And if people love it, I feel great about it. And we like feeding people. We like music. We like having a good time. We try to get all three of those things done, every week. And that's kind of all I need out of it. I got some people that are like marketers. They're out there repping. I wear grocery shirts all the time because I literally don't have much else.
Yeah. And the same thing. So guys, I know people are tuning in, and if you're going to listen to this audio version of it, tonight we got to get a little matchup, right? We got, I said, two small business owners. First off, we have, the Government Street Grocery, which has been in business for over 20 years. You go for the atmosphere, and we all got to agree the food is amazing.
Appreciate that.
And shout out to the spicy wrap. Okay.
I do love that one. It ruins me, but I love it.
And then we got Jeff. You got to help me pronounce your name.
Schmidtke.
Jeff Schmidtke, from Noble Labs, Mississippi. They're up and coming. From the Noble THC drinks to Skunk Works to a lot of their brands. Actually, you had the Juke Joint. I realized the Juke Joint pre-rolls. So it's we're going to talk about and get to know who these guys are both ways, and then we're going to dive into certain things that's happened recently, and just stay tuned, man. And then, like I said, we're on the live right now, but this is, I've always got some feedback about the audio for the cars. People are going to Ingles. Shout out to you. People early morning want to throw this pod on and listen to it a couple times in a week. And then also send us feedback. Something on this is you could find the Government Street Grocery. You're open. What? We just talked about this. So it was Tuesday through Sunday.
Yeah, that's correct.
And you just pull them up. And then if you want to reach out, they got a Facebook page.
Yeah, Facebook, call the phone number, all that. It's all on our Facebook stuff, the menus there, whatnot.
And what's your phone number?
228-818-9410.
Yeah. And then with Jeff, hello at Noble Labs MS. Is that right?
That's right.
.com. Feedback on his products, the topics we're going to get into. But first, let's get to know these guys and why they took the risk. Two crazy industries. Let's be honest. People always want to own a bar. I don't know. And people want to own a facility dedicated to industry that's, it's up and coming, but it needs to go a lot forward. I know you've put your heart into it. It shows with your products. I'm excited to know. So let's go with you, Jeff. I know you told me a little bit about, you and your wife, remodel historical homes in New Orleans, something you're passionate about, so that you live in New Orleans and you have a place in Tylertown. What made you want to get into the medical industry?
I mean, it's a good question. Wife and I were both doing historical renovations, residential renovations in the New Orleans area. And she just had a really, really good grip of it and didn't need my participation as much in it. So we were looking to diversify a little bit of our time. And I don't know why, but I had this itch to satisfy with regards to the Louisiana medical cannabis program. I was very surprised when it was passed. I did not think Louisiana would be the 30th state, I believe is what they were. I would have bet they would have been closer to 50th. So that surprised me. And I kind of kept my finger on the pulse for a while and watched it develop some, and kind of came to the realization that it was very, very small. And I just figured there was so much room for growth in that industry within the state of Louisiana. And so I just went full force to build out infrastructure to try to expand that program. We were unsuccessful. It's very tough to enter that program. However, Mississippi greenlit its medical program while we were, putting forth our efforts for Louisiana, and it was not a difficult pivot to move from our efforts in Louisiana and apply it to Mississippi. And Mississippi's program was vastly different. It was very accessible for operators, providing a much greater program for the patients ultimately at the end of the day. So, we were able to check all the boxes required from the state to be issued our processing license. And then we got to work after we obtained that. So we do not cultivate the crop. We just process and manufacture products from the crop.
And you were talking about, it's one of the things I love about when I seen one of your first products was like with Skunk Works, is like they always do with the sticker. It's like powered by Con Life. Mm-hmm. It's like, you're giving shout out to all these other grows. You're not just claiming that is your product.
That's correct. I mean, we're one half of the process. So we do try to recognize all of the cultivators who we collaborate with to make the product. So not every cultivator has a processing license. They may just be on the flower side of the dispensary. We're on the processed side of the dispensary. So we're giving greater recognition to the cultivators by having, their brands on our packaging as well.
It's a smart move because, there are grows that have to get rid of product. Because you see this, there's a lot of flower out there.
There is.
And then you're able to take, instead of letting it go to waste, you're able to pick and then turn it into a live resin, right? Lotions, topicals.
All sorts of things. And from all parts of the plant. We try to stay away from what they call A-buds, which is what you'll see cultivators selling as raw flower, right? We can work with all the remaining bits of the plant that may not be so retail friendly or retail visually appealing. So we can work with smaller buds, flower. We can work with their trim. And if for whatever reason they may not pass testing for microbials or for potency or for other contaminants that can be remediated, we can work with that and make something from it where the cultivator might not be able to. So, there's been several instances where we salvaged biomass just through the processing steps.
So yes. So did you go into it knowing this knowledge before you decided to do this?
No.
That's honest. Okay. That's cool, man. Like that. And Pat, I mean, are you from Ocean Springs?
No, I grew up in Jones County, about an hour and a half north of here, hour and 45 minutes, middle of nowhere.
What made you? What made you go, I want to open a bar?
Oh, well, that I don't really know. I kind of picked Ocean Springs when I was in college. My friend group, I worked at some sandwich shops and some bars and stuff like that. And for my first semester at college there, made some friends. We're still friends to this day. And I looked around my friend group one day, and I would say like 7 out of 10 people were all from Ocean Springs. And so then I would come down for like Mardi Gras and things like that with some of my friends. And I was like, this town is just fun. People are nice and they're doing stuff. It's like a better time than honestly being in college town was, you know? And yeah, when I got an opportunity to do this, I figured, I already had some people vouching for me and stuff. So this would be as good as place as any to drop in and try to do it. I looked at Hattiesburg, that was closer to where I had grown up, but the coast just called me because I had friends down here and that kind of thing. So it took about 3 weeks of like being around town to realize, actually my friend Brad that owns a shed was driving around with me one day and he's like, that place right there is going to come up for sale in a week.
Brad was with you?
Oh yeah. Brad introduced me to we were in the parking lot looking at this.
Were y'all picking up trash on the way?
There was probably something in the back of his truck. Yeah. And so he was like, I think this guy's going to get out of business here pretty soon. He's looking to do something else. You could get this spot. And I had just lost my mom about a month or so earlier than that. And I was kind of in shock from all that. I moved to OS to be close to my dad. He had a little house, a retirement house he was building in D'Iberville. So I moved down to the coast to be close to him. And then, we decided to do a restaurant thing. And it was kind of my mom's idea. She was like, you can not quit your job, but she's like, if you want to really transition into this, she's like, I'd support that idea. And believe me, I have some dumb ideas and my parents shoot them down left and right. And this one, my mom's like, I could see you doing that little bar and grill thing. That sounds like something you would do. And so she said, I'll be your silent partner if you find something, if you can really make it work, And she had passed away before that could come to fruition. But my dad kind of wanted to honor that too. And he's like, you're an idiot. I don't really see this working out, but I'm going to do it. And he helped me out, and I was able to pay him back in the second year we were open from it and stuff. Cause this turns out there was nobody doing what I was doing downtown. And so that just really gave us a blank slate.
Did you go straight bar? I mean, how'd you figure out how to get your license? Was it a lot? Was it easier then?
I Googled everything. Yeah.
Was it easier then than it is now?
I think it's about the same process. Okay. I didn't know what I was getting into. I'd literally Googled how to open a business, and I'm like, go down to the city hall and ask for a business license application, phase 1, And then we formed an LLC, and that took a lawyer and that kind of thing. So I paid a lawyer to do that. And then I called the ABC and said, hey, I want to sell alcohol. How do you do that? And then they were like, fill this form out, give us $10,000 and pass your background checks. And so we did all of that. I didn't have $10,000. So we were doing a surety bond type thing. But instead of that, we actually were able to round up the money, and I put the power of attorney over it in their name, so I could still draw interest on the $10,000 that they were holding the whole time. So that gave me a little bit more workable.
That was smart.
I read on the line. Seemed like a good move. So I was like,
thanks, Google.
Yeah, right.
And so, when did the food come right away?
Yeah. We were a plate lunch, kind of blue plate special type thing. It was all like country fried steak and beans and cabbage and all that kind of stuff. We had sandwiches also and salads, but it was very much more plate lunch kind of thing.
No homemade hummus or anything?
Hummus wasn't around then. We had squash casserole and stuff like that. And for those couple months we were open, it was going good. People enjoyed the food and that kind of thing. But selling Southern food to Southerners is probably the worst decision I could have made. It was so hard because they're like, that's good, but my grandma's squash casserole should have, like this and that. It was a lot harder to make people happy with comfort food than I thought. And then we got hit by Katrina shortly after that. We opened in April and got Katrina at the end of August, I guess. And so we were 6 months old and lost everything. My house, the cars, totally. I was probably 20 grand in debt to my landlord even by this point, and all this tax stuff I'm still sorting through, so it was a nightmare. My parents my dad was alive then, and he was just like, you just need to bankrupt this thing, and you have no town left, you have no business, you have no car, no house. What are you going to do? And so we kind of just decided there's still something we could do in town. Slept in the grocery for a couple months. My friend brought me a trailer, a little Airstream. We pulled up beside the grocery and hijacked some power to it once we got electricity back. And it was literally one day at a time. Like every sale we'd make, we'd take that money and buy 2 more of those things. Then we'd sell those 2 and buy 4 more of those things, and just kept doing it. Yeah. And
well, happy anniversary for that, because it's 20 years this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
20 years.
So I mean, that's a cool story, because that's always, people always like, I'm gonna open a bar. I'm like, that's the last thing I'd ever want to do.
Common sense was against me to start with, just by being who I am. And it's incredibly hard. I literally would have basically lost everything we had put into that twofold. I would have ended up further in debt than I even had invested in the place. But after the storm, we kind of just went back to zero. And, you know, no one even knew me at this point. I've only been there 6 months, but we had all this food. We were trying to all the coolers were down, all of our freezers were down. So as things were thawing out, we're just cutting it and giving it away. Because, I told my dad, I was like, I got to get rid of all this food. There's people with no food, they can have all this. So we just did a soup kitchen until everything was gone. But then people started coming around saying, hey, like, I am wealthy. I just don't have anywhere to eat. I have money in the bank. I can't do anything with it. And I went to FEMA and they gave me a 50-pound bag of beans, and I'm like, bring it over. We'll cook it. And if you don't mind me handing it out to people. And that was kind of what really turned the community into paying attention a little bit to us and being like, they felt like they could trust me a little bit more, I think, after that. And people started coming to support us. And then it got more and more and more. And eventually we were kind of back in business. And that's when I'm like, let's just do sandwiches for now, because the rest of it was a lot of employees, a lot of moving parts.
Was it just a regular sandwich, or was it the iconic government? Was it the burger?
The grocery burger was,
with gravy.
Right
off the bat.
Grocery burger, the gravy fries, all that was day one. Spicy roast beef's probably our second best seller. It came a couple years later. And that was just something that happened late night. One night we're just in the kitchen trying to make some food. Everybody's got the munchies or whatever. We come up with a sandwich and we bring it out. My friend's like, you've got to put this on the menu. Holy smokes. And it's so spicy. I'm sweating under my eyes. And I'm like, yeah. And it's been there ever since.
I don't think we were around yet for that munchie.
Yeah.
Not yet. For that night. No.
I mean, we were just tired and whatever. And
we're going to, with you, Jeff. Okay. When did you start? What year was it when you started getting all even in Louisiana? When did you start really, was it 15? When did you really start going, I kind of want to try to, whether it was Louisiana or Mississippi, I'm going to try to figure it,
It was really 2019, if memory serves me
correct. So you're right before COVID.
Yeah. Yes. We went pretty hard in the paint, like 1920. It was a 2 to 3 year attempt before, I guess it was 2020, Mississippi passed the law. And then it wasn't until, maybe 2021. And then it wasn't until the very end of 22 that we were licensed and kind of off to the races.
And did you know how much it was going to cost you up front?
You can always build a budget, and usually it's double that. Okay. We really try to remain lean. And we did, I guess. It wasn't easy, but it did not cost us nearly as much as other, perhaps larger, quote unquote, groups.
But it's a new journey. They you're doing the whatever that one was like. Vote no or vote yes, the tricky question when we voted.
Oh man,
Initiative 65.
Was it the same way 65. Figuring out how to get all your permits and everything?
No, I'm telling you that the state, I got to give them credit. The law passed and they had, I don't know, was it like 120 days or something to start accepting and issuing permits and licenses. Which they did. What that was, I believe to this day was a record. I do not believe another state has taken as few or spent as little time from law to product being sold. I really believe Mississippi owns that record, because they turned this program on very, very quickly.
Well, when I caught wind of it, it was more when people were starting like the larger groups where they all got a bunch of people together, like heavy investors.
Yes.
That started coming quick. And that was it. I mean, and you were right there with them, but y'all were way smaller.
Yes. Yeah, we were just a small group of dads, essentially.
Okay.
With an idea.
And these are friends of yours.
Yeah.
So, and that's it's kind of, go in that situation. And you got the other ones that, when I'm not going to name a bunch of names, but there's people that we know in the Ocean Springs community that have extra money, and we're going for the larger companies coming in.
Yeah.
It's a good return if it works. And you beat it to the punch. I mean, it's you can make money.
One thing that we did was we only filed essentially for one license, and that is a processing license. For better or worse, we just tried to pick one lane, and we, for the most part, have stayed in that. When we identified the building in Tylertown, which if you blink, you miss it. We had enough space to kind of build out a dispensary. So we thought, well, why not? Here's an opportunity basically to get rid of product that we maybe wouldn't find, in the general market a place for. We thought, okay, direct engagement with our patients would be a good thing. But we knew it wasn't going to be a very heavily trafficked location. And at first it really wasn't. I mean, we might have been the smallest dispensary in the state, but through our staff and their knowledge, really, we've slowly kind of built a little bit of a following, even though we're in the middle of Walthall County. So we don't operate other retail locations. We would rather partner with dispensaries versus compete with them. Same with cultivators. We would rather collaborate with a cultivator versus be viewed as a competitor. So we liked our spot in the pocket where we can just, make the most friends within the industry, both on the retail side and on the cultivation side.
And that was going, when you started building that relationship, because that you're going right in and trying to work together, right? When was the idea where y'all were thinking about the seltzer drinks? Was it around that same time, or?
Well, that's a good question. We weren't thinking about that. We were preparing for the changes to the medical cannabis program that we were expecting to see after the 2024 legislative session. Those plans to expand and grow the program failed at the legislature. And essentially nothing got accomplished. And man, that was like a pretty tough gut punch for us. And we just kind of had to go back to the drawing board because we had all these plans for products and things. And, but all of that just went out of the window overnight. And we just felt that, okay, if we're going to live in this landscape, what can we do? What else can we do for the next 12 months to survive?
Seems similar to what you were doing.
Yeah, it is. So like everything we've ever accomplished has been out of necessity as much as invention. Like it looks good on the outcome, but the getting up to that point, oh my goodness, it's always
you got to figure out the months to stay alive.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean it was tough. It was a tough time because we weren't sure what we were going to do, but we had the capabilities within our facility to do a lot of cool stuff. I mean, we had this extraction machine. We have all these skilled employees. So ultimately the decision was made, okay, well, let's try to raise money to build out a beverage line. Because one, the program didn't have a drink. And two, we could manufacture a hemp-derived beverage as well. And we knew we had about a 12-month window to push as many hemp-derived beverages into the general market in Mississippi as possible, because the legislation in 24 that almost passed but didn't was going to wrap the consumable hemp market underneath the umbrella of the medical cannabis program. And so we were looking, again, at this temporary window, like, all right, well, let's get as many out as we can, as quickly as we can, because in 2025, they're going to shut this window and everything's going to be rolled back underneath the medical marijuana program. So maybe we'll have 6 months to expose people to this category of product. And if they have a positive enough experience with it, maybe that then will correlate to them joining the medical cannabis program, or at least engaging in sales transactions within the licensed dispensaries. So that was the plan, in the thought process behind that. But then 2025, well, nothing happened again. I mean, there were some changes to the medical cannabis program, but with regard to consumable hemp, no legislation was passed. So we were faced with a landscape where I was like, all right, well, nothing's really changing in the space for the consumable hemp beverages.
Let's go back to the other bill you were talking about, not this last one, but you were talking about the one that said it would put you on an umbrella. So you'd have to be a Noble Labs, Mississippi, to carry that. You can't be just a head shop or.
Yes, the consumable hemp products were going to be regulated by the Department of Health, and the language, and again, I'm going off of 2-year-old memory here, but was that all consumable hemp products are going to basically have to be processed and or tested within Mississippi prior to getting approval to be sold in a medical marijuana dispensary. Now, I believe that 21 and older could purchase without a medical cannabis card if it was a hemp product that met the federal Farm Bill standards. But between the beverage distributors, they've got 4,000 or 5,000 accounts statewide. So the market was going to go from that size to 150 that we have of medical cannabis dispensaries, which again, we were preparing for that. For us, the writing was kind of on the wall, but hey, we had this short amount of time to really get it out to as many places as possible.
And with my situation that I was telling you is like, you can go buy a beer at 21, and you're going through Mitchell Distributing. Mm-hmm. You can go, or I don't know your other distributors, but you can go buy a beer. You go to a casino and take all the money out of your account and spend it right there. Kratom's still on the wall. I mean, there's like so many things where there comes a time point for me. It's like you get a little older where you kind of want to make your own decisions, yeah. Especially if you work and you're part of the community. And I just feel like in that situation where it comes to like, if I see something that Mitchell's dropping, because there's a lot of rules Mitchell has to go through.
Yeah. I mean, it's regulated through you guys, through them. And then say when I get it at my business, regulated through me as well. It couldn't be a safer product, honestly, as far as getting in the wrong hands. This isn't like that,
I would agree.
You have to go to, at the time, you'd have to go to like the grocery. You have to show an ID. Mm-hmm. You can't just go, hey, give me one of these. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it's an adult beverage, 21 and over.
Yeah. And for me too, it really kind of like, I'm super grateful that these things came around through the hemp bill side of it, because granted, I'll go to a dispensary to fill a script or do whatever, but I'm not nearly as tempted as, I've seen them in there. I'm like, maybe I'll try one of these one day or other. But when they're in my business, it gave me an opportunity. Like, you brought them in, let me try them, and like, okay, this is actually a good product. It tastes great. It's got good effects.
And it's so minimum, like it's not a lot, but you're able to open the door. You're able to open the door to able to share an experience with somebody. Yeah. And it changed, I've seen more good when it comes to these THC seltzers, because I always get that phone call where it's like, hey, Jourdan, I went to Rouse's and got me a little 4-pack. I love them. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's an alternative too.
Yeah, that's a big part of my line of work is offering alternatives to the standard fare, and after 20 years of being in business, we sell food. It's probably not health food, probably not, and alcohol is definitely not health food and stuff. And it's refreshing to me to be able to offer something that's legitimately healthier for you. It has none of the same side effects of alcohol, but it has some positive effects, like my friends hanging out because they're like, I don't drink anymore, but I want to hang out with you guys and be social. And this gives them an opportunity to come back around and do this kind of things. It filled a huge void for us.
You feel, and you started seeing that where people start coming in and asking for a Noble or ask for, where you see the people that come in and that they started asking for these drinks.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. People have their favorites now. We carried 2 or 3 different varieties from different labels over there. The Noble's by far the favorite of them, but yeah, people know about them. They come in and ask for them without even being a customer of ours. They're like, hey, do you have any of those?
And like I said, it's still got that social effect, and you're still, you do get a little coziness.
Yeah. It's definitely a head change. It's not like a waste of money or anything at all, but it's also very, very subtle. It's not like kind of alcohol where you're all good and then you fall off this cliff because of it. And, after 20 years of being in business, I've seen alcohol do some terrible things to people, and that's not something I'm proud of being part of how I make a living and feed my family and all my employees. We want to keep things as safe for the community as we can and still let people be free to have a good time and do stuff. And, the Noble products just fit right in the middle of that for us. It gave everyone this kind of happy medium to where you can do all of those things at once.
And I think the thing is, in the next 4 or 5 years, it's going to be a competitor. It's like
absolutely.
I forgot it's Evan's aunt. She's gonna punch me in the face because she watches the podcast. So Evan Tiblay's aunt. She owns the liquor store. Used to be by the cannery, right there at 67. She's been in business a long time, but she came in. She'll kick my ass. I need to pull up her. I'll pull up your address and your name of your business, but she was telling me, she said, there's this recession going through, Jourdan. I said, what is that? She goes, I've been in this business a long time. My liquor store is not the same like it used to be. She said, there's a lot of people that are finding alternatives to drink now. Yeah. And they're not coming in and,
it's across the board as well. The younger kids are not participating in alcohol like they did when I was a kid, and grownups are turning off of it, a lot of for health reasons. I mean, I'm 50 years old now. I'm not trying to make that any less number.
That's true, and it's factual. If anybody tracks consumption data for alcohol or beer specifically, it's the big beer distributors. And to see them recognize that and then engage in the trend, I felt like our timing couldn't have been better, but we're also very, appreciative to have access to that type of infrastructure number one, they recognize its importance, and 2, they help drive distribution of it.
Sure.
We could not do that.
They have reach like no one else does, for sure. Most of this.
I think our biggest problem for the South, and here it is, the bottle shop, wine and liquor. I'm so sorry, girl, but you gotta check her out. It's a local business, and it's a small little liquor store, but she'll take care of you, and she's got a reward system. But it's people like her, that tell me these things. And, you're seeing a situation where the biggest thing for us in the South is everybody has that kind of stigma with the whole medical or the marijuana industry. We have this whole thing with it's bad, but in your hands, there's alcohol.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's people, they always got this whole, like, I don't know, this kind of market, like it is like prohibition. You said that earlier, it's like prohibition.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of, I would say it's getting less and less, the acceptability of things. Some people needed it to be on the books legal for it to be acceptable. Other people needed it to be controlled and to be safe, so they felt good about it. There's a lot of caveats that are getting filled now, and I think it's definitely for the better.
I just think we got way more problems to worry about than a little THC.
And it's something that's like never really hurt anybody comparatively speaking to alcohol. Marijuana's never been a real game changer for like ruining lives and so forth. I think They kind of figured that out. The reefer madness kind of stuff is laughable now. You know what I mean? It's literally a joke we joke about.
So for me, having cerebral palsy and being a Shriners kid, and when I first started going to the doctors, it was always, here's some Lortabs.
Yeah.
Here's some Somas. No, you need 2 more Lortabs a day. You need 3 Lortabs a day. And I'm like, this is way before that was this even an industry.
Mm-hmm.
I got to figure something out for pain. And then, at the time, I didn't like it. I'll be honest with you, understanding it, but I didn't know what a sativa was. I didn't know what an indica was. I didn't know, like anything, you can abuse it. There's certain times I always tell people, if you ever get into the medical industry or whatever, and you want to try it, like don't have it in your hand all day long.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and, give it some time. Everything it's not like, it's not an instant hit. So, don't sit there and, hit your pen 40 times. Okay.
Yeah, you might get ruined.
Don't drink, 10 seltzer drinks.
Yeah.
And
conversely too, like don't go do 9 shots back to back to back and expect good results, like let it all do its job. And that is honestly something I was impressed with the seltzers, was that it's not like an edible would take, 35, 45 minutes to soak in. And I'm thinking, from me vending this, right, I was like, well, how's that going to work? Somebody's hanging out with their buddies, they drink 6 of these, and an hour later they got this donkey punch and can't drive and get panicked, because it will make people panic if you have edibles too much and get overloaded. People have stories about that for sure. But I love the way that these, you can kind of feel them drink for drink. So it's not like it's stacking up on you and surprising you all of a sudden. That's one of the reasons I feel like it's a really safe alternative to alcohol.
And I think for me, it's a good, it's a good open invitation to try it, because I've had so many situations since they came out with this product where it's just like, that ain't gonna work. I ain't gonna like that.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, it's good. Go to the beach, have one through the day.
Yeah.
You can do, like I said, I had Ian from 701, and he gave some ingredients on doing like a little cocktails with it. You got the lime, you can do a margarita, like you said. Mm-hmm. You can replace the alcohol with this. You don't have to drink the whole thing. You're able to you could take that and break it up. But these people are, I'm watching it now, and I've been pulling up on the internet, but people are making like an old fashioned. They're making,
right. They're
just making drinks that look like a drink you would get. And, and it's giving that option where, it's just, I've never had a person go, I don't like it. Like, and it's a situation, well, man, and then the best thing is the next day you wake up, you're not feeling,
the hangovers at my age, especially like 50, like you get tired of overdoing alcohol. Like I know what I'm getting into if I'm going to have drinks with my friends.
You don't have to drink the whole Pedialyte, you know what I mean?
Right.
Well, having the partnerships with the distributors, having the partnerships with the accounts, like the grocery, gosh, I don't know if there's another situation that normalizes.
Put your feet on it if you want.
No, it's good.
That normalizes the category as much as these drinks have seemed to have done. When someone walks in to your business, they know you, like they trust y'all. Like it's just a normal place to be. And then in your cooler, there's some noble beverages. Maybe they know what it is, maybe they don't. But after being explained or educated on the product, there's just an immediate sense of comfort and security, and just being a part of that mainstream marketplace is just so powerful.
I do think that having familiarity, people you trust, if you're going to the same place, all the servers, the bartenders, the people, for years, we're not going to steer anybody wrong. Like even our bartenders, like if someone orders one of these, they remind them straight up, like, hey, you will not pass a drug test if you drink this, just so you may be in a certain job field where you may not have thought about that because you bought it at a bar and they don't test for alcohol. So, so those are things that matter, but they do trust. And I was really amazed at the amount of people just coming to us and asking. They're like, straight up, heard you're doing this. What is that like? What does it taste like? What's the ones I want to sample some of these? And so we had, probably of all of our products, this has been the one that brought people just cold calling us, straight coming in and being like, hey, I heard you guys are serving this. I want to try one, and we don't get, we get offered different types of drinks all the time from our distributors. There's always a new brewery, a new craft of some sort. And, there's some buzz around some of them, but in general, not nearly like what this was. This was tenfold as far as people's interest in it right out of the gate.
And you're getting it from Mitchell Distributing.
Yeah.
You're getting it added. You wasn't just getting it at a backwood.
No, these are community
gas
partners.
station.
Yeah, we've been in business together for
Went in
20
the back of a
years.
truck.
Yeah.
My truck.
Yeah,
Jeff wasn't showing up going, hey.
I mean, I will buy moonshine out of the back of a truck at a juke joint, but I'm not going to do that with this. No, it's completely.
I'm glad I don't have to. Oh my God.
I mean,
Yeah,
and that was
right?
the cool thing about when I was talking to you about it, because you were, when I was telling you, me and you were talking about the situation, you were hurt by it because, I mean, you're giving options to other people, but I mean, this also takes away from, you making a little more money for your business. I mean, this is kind of situation where you're like,
well, I don't want to put people in a situation where they have to choose less than what they want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's my business, is to sell them what they want. I didn't come up with all this like menu and all that kind of stuff because it's what I wanted to sell. It's what people said that they were wanting to pay for, And I'm like, I can get that to you. I can get you a good one of those. Check this sandwich out or check this thing out. And so I really think it's taking the people's just free choice away from them. I'm a huge, not a fan of that,
And you get to that situation, that's where me and you nailed on the thing. It's like when I heard about it, I was like, man, we're just going backwards.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's been a situation where, I mean, my brother lives in California. I mean, a lot of my friends live. I mean, it's really coming around no matter what, and it's like it just gets a situation where like it sets us back to like that. It's just look. I love Mississippi and I'm proud of Mississippi, but we come in this situation too where it was 82. There was this whole thing that went out where everything was signed off by the sheriffs and stuff, or select counties. It was up to them to join or opt out. But 82 counties, you said you've seen about 10 letters. I mean, you can still get in other places.
Yeah. So you're referring to the current prohibition that has now since happened around the consumable hemp products.
Can you give a little more detail on how that occurred?
Well, there were letters issued by various sheriff's offices and police departments across the state, warning that these products have been deemed illegal, and there's a certain 48 hours to remove these products from the shelves, or you'll be at risk of prosecution. Yes, it has been in select areas of the state. It is not a statewide situation yet. But to answer the question, why? Well, it stems from a letter that was released from the Mississippi Attorney General's office. Well, I would argue clarifying the legality of consumable hemp. But I think that it was mistakenly misinterpreted due to some of the language that was used in that letter that speaks to a couple, I'll call them laws, within the state of Mississippi. The Controlled Substances Act and the 2020 Hemp Cultivation Act. However, the letter goes on to highlight that the cultivation, processing, and sale of consumable hemp is regulated by the federal law, by the federal government in Mississippi. And the explanation is given in that letter that the state of Mississippi deferred its Hemp Cultivation Act in 2020 due to lack of funding. Okay, so while a law was passed, it was never enacted or implemented due to, at the time, the reason was lack of funding. So the Agriculture Department was originally responsible for regulating consumable hemp. The commissioner at the time requested that the USDA regulate our program, and they obliged, and was why our operation was instructed by the state of Mississippi to pursue the guidelines of the USDA to receive our licenses to operate. So that is what we did and have been doing. We've been operating with our USDA license inside of Mississippi and providing products, not just the drinks, not only to residents of Mississippi and distributors in Mississippi, but other surrounding states as well. And we've only seen this one example where law enforcement and attorneys' offices interfered with that federal law and the guidelines that regulate it. So that's where we are right now. Again, my personal understanding is that what was written and released by the Attorney General's office was misinterpreted. But I guess I don't know who the ultimate judge is.
Me and you were talking about this, which you agree with. You agree with gas station getting flour and all this other stuff from not approved. You're not for just having any kind of stuff on the shelves that you don't know anything about.
Correct.
So you got to get that kind of situation, guys, where it's like he's not saying to have all that stuff in these shops.
Well, let's be very clear here. The medical cannabis program, which we are a part of, is one of the highly regulated programs within the state. So I welcome, other consumable hemp operators to have to follow those same guidelines, right? That same oversight and safety standards. Again, in 2020, there was a law that was passed that could have done that. Mississippi opted out of regulating it. So we're left with federal oversight. And I don't know the last time a federal agent walked into a gas station or convenience store to verify certificate of analysis and, verification that products are in fact compliant. Because I will completely agree with you or take the stance that a majority of what is being sold is, one, mislabeled, and two, not compliant, and three, unsafe. And so I understand the position of wanting to, I'll say, regulate it, not prohibit it. That would be quite, what's the word, hypocritical? Given our role in that category. But unfortunately, the state has not implemented and or written a new law that would do that. If enforcement is the answer, then prosecute based on the factual data that what is being sold is in fact non-compliant. I don't think that's a very difficult thing to do. You just need to test and verify.
My thing is, like I said, everything's off shelf, but Kratom's still there.
Yeah, I feel like they threw the baby out with the bathwater with this thing because, they're.
Bring my couple of
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was like, let me be quiet. I'll put it over here. But yeah, I do feel like they threw the baby out with the bathwater. Kind of, they had this opportunity to step in and regulate. They already have a system to regulate with. I mean, they have testing facilities. They have a way to know what's going in there. And by punishing the people that are already under super strict regulations, just trying to get into a market, to take that away from them because somebody's selling something crazy over here. Just seems like they're punishing everyone for the bad actions of a few, or just the fear that someone's doing something wrong. You're going to take everything good away from everybody. And I don't really like that. I don't like doing any of this without consulting the population or experts in the field. I have no faith that our legislature knows anything about this whole process. If they do, they're learning it as they go, and we're kind of suffering, I think, for that reason.
And it's such a big, man. It just hurts my heart because there's just so much. I mean, I can't say, okay, I'm not gonna give my buddy's name out, but he was in law enforcement for 14 years, And he's just like, man, he's like, I've never had a problem with a person that was smoking. He's like, I mean, it's like, my concern is more alcohol.
Yeah.
You know, he goes, but I've never, he goes, look, he said, I've been doing, he said, after many years doing that, he said, I've never had a problem with somebody.
Yeah. I don't think
they were very polite.
Yeah. Like, okay. Maybe a little paranoid. You know, it just, man, I want to know, cause like, you know, people are very nervous and understand, like, you know, there's a process to go get your card. I'm not saying don't get your medical card, but there is a process to get it. But there's some people that still won't ever do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going into a Rouse's, grab you a light dose 4-pack, a Noble, you know what I mean? Or other people in the industry, but because it's not open just Noble. That's right. It's not just Noble. So it's like,
yeah, there's other brands,
yeah,
and
there's other brands, but it's just having that opportunity where, I mean, there's like, I mean, you're not including the seltzer thing, but like now there's like 35 different seltzers. I don't even know what it's real anymore.
I mean, I would love to see someone who wants to make a choice, make a healthier choice, make a better choice, because I feel like it is a better choice for some people in certain settings, you know, over alcohol. I mean, probably across the board better in a lot of ways, but I just think that one guy who might say, hey, maybe I drink too much, maybe, and I know I'm not going to want to not feel good or something, so let me try something different. You know, that could have been a turning point for them to turn things around, and it takes that opportunity away from them. And that really bothers me more than anything else. Is just, you're just taking.
You have them options. Like you walk into the grocery, you have an option to get, I mean, by far the best seller will always be and there's very few people have it on tap, is the PBR, the grocery table. I mean, that is we
had to work for that too. That wasn't on the Gulf Coast before we brought it down here.
Got a cold PBR. Everybody knows where that's at. You know, that's kind of like that. That's that beer. And there's you can get liquor. You can get all spirits there. A big choice. You know, Noble was on the shelves too, but they're all. So my thing is, it's like, you got to be 21 no matter what.
Yeah.
So why punish? I mean, look, let's say if you get your voter ID card, if they ask you for jury duty, you got to do it. I mean, like you got to have a voter ID card. You got to pay insurance. You got to pay bills. I mean, if you got a family, you got to take care of your family. I mean, it's just it's just, to me, it's just like one of the like it's the lowest thing on the totem pole when it comes. It's like there's other things that are out there that are more important, like, you know, battle with people that are on meth, heroin, heavy drugs, and it's just that should be the fight on war. If you're gonna fight something, you fight that.
Right. I feel like we have much bigger fish to fry than this.
Well, that's a very good point, and you know, begs the question: what's the motivation behind this? Because it just seems like there are a lot more important things to address, you know, mid-season or mid-year. And look, again, the products that are not being regulated and are not compliant, that needs to be addressed.
100%.
And I really believe since 2000, we've tried to in this state. Why we can't cross the finish line, I mean, I think it's a different reason every year. But here we are today, and you know, I get it. I understand. Like we need to remove those non-compliant, untested products from the shelves. I 1,000% agree. But I also disagree on the way that they're going about doing it now, and I'm not so sure it is the lawful way to do it.
Yeah, I would agree. I just think it's casting too broad of a net. You're going to get some endangered species in there like this, and you're also going to get what you want. You know, you want the truck stop hemp whatever out of the gas stations. Everyone agrees that's a little shady. That's a gray area, you know. But when you're grabbing that and taking it away from people, you're taking away all these other good opportunities as well. And I think the state is fully capable of using more precision on this, you know, instead of hitting it with a big blunt stick and saying, all this is gone.
100% you agree, because like it was already out there, and now it's off the shelf. Now it's like, you know, you bought inventory, you can't return it, you know, there's no refunds taken.
Right.
And it's just like same thing with these larger stores. I mean, you know, Rouse's. You know, it's just like they order a lot of inventory. Then it's like it's making them go, should we take the investment again because they're sitting on product.
Yeah.
And that's just a scary thing.
Well, Patrick was referencing Katrina and what it did to his business. He was what you said 6 months into it or something like that. Okay, so we're maybe 12 months, right? Well, this has been somewhat our Katrina because it's doing devastating damages. Because it has taken us every minute of 12 months to educate people on the category. It's not just about tasting it. It's about talking about it. It's about explaining what it is. And it is taken a tremendous amount of work to educate people on this category. And to think that, it's going to be so easy to just turn the light back on and everything's going to go back to normal. You're dreaming because people. No,
is this kind of like the toilet paper thing that happened? I mean, you see that, like I said, you go. So, I mean, for instance, can we dive in a little bit about, and then I do want to hit on your process too. I'm going to hit on his first, but about like how how you source some food, how you thought about that idea to have because I mean their ticket times are fucking fast.
Try to keep it simple with stuff.
Yeah,
that's about it for that.
How do you make? What's the process of actually making a Noble? Because it's not like I said, it's like you're not at your house filling up cans.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's all a mystery to me.
You got to buy. I mean, similar to a lot of these breweries, right? You got to buy to get a good deal. You got to buy crates and crates of aluminum cans, right?
Yeah, that's probably our biggest expense is the can.
So how's the process start? I mean, is it at y'all's facility?
Yeah, I mean, we make it from scratch essentially. We run a nano emulsion after we decarb our THCA, and from there, formulate our syrups in house. We make our syrups in house, and then formulate the drinks from there. To make them 5 milligrams and to make them consistent and to make them stable.
Is the facility clean? Are there people wearing the right gear? I mean,
yeah. So we make our beverages in the same facility as our medical products. So everything is as sterile as we can make it because the safety standards that we have to meet for each and every one of our products is extremely strict. There are a lot of contaminants that the state tests for that we have to be clean from.
So you ain't got nobody in there shirtless, no gloves on.
I don't think anyone's been shirtless yet. Not that, no, I don't think so.
So my joking thing is it's a process. I mean, it's y'all really put it in. Y'all make sure everything's to the T. I mean, and you're
to be honest with you, we're probably one of the very few brands that do actually do that. Several brands are breweries that don't emulsify their own THC. That's just not a process they're faced with needing to know how to do, like somebody that's manufacturing products for a medical cannabis program. So we have a slight advantage there, I guess. We have total and complete control over our quality. We're not co-packing. We're not, farming out some canning company, basically making a cake, for the brand or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's the recipe for success is having your finger on everything and being able to control, your outcome is your outcome. And that's what we were talking about earlier. Like all these mistakes are mine,
Yeah, that's right.
And I like that feeling in a lot of ways because it keeps me under the gun, and we make all of our stuff from scratch, same thing. And sure, we could buy hamburger patties frozen somewhere else, we could do that. And we would make more money doing that if they could taste as good as ours do, which they can't, but even our soups, we make homemade soups. It's about the ingredients and having control over the nuance.
The Euro.
Yeah.
I mean, that Euro bangs so hard, dude.
And I just feel like even our distributors for food wise, you know, we go to food shows, you know, that kind of thing. And 80% of what they want to market to us is a pre-made item, and it's delicious. Don't get me wrong. And you pop it in that little oven or whatever for 30 seconds or whatever, and it looks great, and you can have it out on the table super fast. And they get frustrated with us because like, hey, I want to send the guy from Hormel by here, and he wants to sell me his bag soups. He's like, oh man, there's 18 places using these right around the corner from here. You know, you don't want to be the only one not selling chicken tortilla. I'm like, I sell chicken tortilla, but I make it from scratch. Yeah. You know,
I want to be the only one that's not selling that.
Right. And stuff. They're like, but your margins, and they're not wrong. The labor we put into it is costly. You know, the ingredients are a bit cheaper because they're whole ingredients as opposed to processed stuff. But at the same time, you know, we get control over those things.
I don't even know where your prices lay.
They're downtown.
This,
yeah,
and then here.
Yeah, totally. Most people do that too. I mean, our prices, I feel like they're in the realm of downtown. I don't think it's cheap for a hamburger. I don't think it's a cheap product to start with because it's a good hamburger, but it's not crazy either. You know, we're not trying to be fine dining. We still serve in baskets with wax paper, you know, like checker paper and stuff. Our chairs don't all match. Floor's nice now, but that's that's about it. We might charge $1 or more than necessary for that, but our building is 100 years old. It's not the brand new thing, you know, that kind of thing.
And build memories off your food. Because I'm telling you, my stepdad, which me and him go, he's always with me. I'll have him with me, but I remember bringing him. We had one of the festivals we did a couple years ago, but he never heard of the grocery, and me and him we're staying in Porter. He's from Jackson area. And I'm like, I was like, we're gonna go to the grocery and get a grocery burger. And he looked at me, he's like, where is this at? And we pulled up, got on the end of the bar. We got 2 burgers and fries and one big bowl of gravy.
That's
and he goes, how do we eat this? Like,
with your hands.
You can dunk it. You can,
with your hands or with that fork.
Whatever you want to do. And
there's no wrong way.
And man, he devoured that burger next to me. And we had PBR's draft, and it was just, and that's the thing. It's like, you want to go to the grocery and get a burger? And it's just one of the things that I shared with my stepdad, where it's like,
I feel like our food fits in because it's just easy. You know, we're not trying to name it all French names for the same thing. You know, we try to just keep it simple because I just feel like a lot of people come in not really looking for a food experience as much as being hungry. I hope so. That's how I market our food. If you're hungry, I got you.
And he'll do specials too.
Every day we do a different special.
The ones I go for is he does like his own version of the Big Mac.
My kitchen managers do most of that work now.
And
they come up with the craziest stuff. I mean, I'll a lot of times I'm like, I don't think that's gonna work, dog. But then I'll eat it. I'm like, yeah, that's good.
It's not. Yeah, it's like. But I mean, it's just cool to be that way.
Is it Lay Big Mac?
They call it what is it? No, we really should. It's called the Mac Daddy.
Okay.
They call it the Mac Daddy. Yeah, that's it. I mean, and we don't try to hide. You know, this is what we're trying to do, and all of our managers and people in the back of the house, we just like to have fun with it, you know, and we're not bound by a set menu, so we can go and we can make anything we want. You know, if we want a couple different soups we haven't tried, we'll just try them, and if they suck, we just won't do it again.
So nobody does. People have to call you and go, can we put this on the menu, or you trust your manager? Yeah. Well, the managers come up with like a daily special every day. And Garrett's one of them, right?
Yeah. He doesn't deal with the kitchen side of it as much as the bartender side, but we've got a couple that have been running for a long time. We just cycle through probably 30 or 40 different things that aren't on the menu that we make on the reg. We just keep those cycling through. Or if somebody's like, my manager came up the other day and wanted to do chicken shawarma. So we did a shawarma wrap. It was fire. You know, we were talking about it a couple of days earlier. I'd made some at home. I'm like, this is so good. We should just sell it one day. Then he comes up and makes them. It was way better than mine. I made it home. So I'm like, yeah, dude, let's put that in a wrap and sell it. Why not? You know, we don't do it every day, but that's the beauty of having your own spot where you can control. If you want to make a guava fruit, passion fruit flavor thing, it's within your means. And I don't have to ask upper management about it. I don't have to make sure my food purveyors are ready with whatever product I may need. We can just go to Rouse's, do it small batch, try it.
He's working on a pink lemonade right now.
Right, yeah.
That's within our control unless someone demands we make a pink lemonade. And it's like, all right.
Then you have to.
And we have to.
Well, I think you've seen the cause me and him were talking about is like, you know, he has his own organization. And it's was it Feed the Need? Am I saying right?
Feed the Need, yeah.
Feed the Need. And you know, they raise their $50,000 and they don't take $1 just like Carter's Champions, you know, and it's big in the community and everybody shows up. And I think that's another thing too that you have on your belt is like, you know, the events they put on, the open mics, the live music's very important for, and it's that area where, I mean, you got it. We call it like the VIP area.
Oh yeah.
But like you got to like.
You know that place was never meant to be VIP because I'm totally against that vibe where like you're more special than somebody else in our room. It's definitely not like that, but people do call it the VIP. But I built that as a perch to sit because it's just the perfect vantage point to see the whole band. Because back in the day when we were booking shows and we were kind of like not many places were doing live music like at the caliber that we were doing downtown, we would have 100 people in that room, just a sea of people. And that spot was like, if you knew to get there early and post up, you could see out over the crowd and see the band. It was it was built as just a place to watch music.
And a lot of people and the thing is, there's a lot of friendliness to it. I always, that's what I was saying. Like if you get in there and you have a good seat and, an older couple comes in or, a girl or, somebody that's like, they need a spot. Yeah, we'll just stand by the bar or sit on the wall.
It's almost like forced socialization, and I like that vibe because we know we have great clientele, we have great customers, and if they don't know each other, they should.
I've
they should come out and enjoy music together. You may not know them, but hey, you're grooving right next to somebody else, and it just creates.
I watched the Jerky Boys. In my area was they're a band, and in my area was the bathroom area. Mm-hmm. So I was staying in the hallway of the bathroom the whole concert. Yeah. They're like, you in line? I'm like, no, I'm just trying to watch the show.
I thought the Jerky Boys made prank calls.
No, this is a whole different.
This was a different Jerky Boys. Yeah,
it's like is it what? How do you say his name?
Danon. Was Danon part of that?
Yeah,
and Alvin was part of that. Alvin Baker. Danon Drejos, and I'm trying to think. It's been a minute. I'm surprised you didn't mention that. It took me down memory lane.
They had their own version of like Beastie Boys.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun rap style kind of stuff, like silly, a lot of it.
But that was the cool thing about when you go to the grocery. I mean, you might the person might be their second time ever performing.
Oh yeah,
but they're people that are going to pay attention. You're not going in there. You're not over speaking over the band. Like there's a unspoken rule that you just definitely get. They're going to just slowly push you out.
well, people are there for the music, I mean, so you can't always do that. I mean, we're not always right on that, but in general, the crowd knows it's going to be loud in there. So if you don't like the music, even when we did cover charge and things, if it wasn't your taste, you could totally have your money back. I'm not going to be like, oh, sorry, you got to stay. It was about putting people in a space to hear something maybe they didn't know they wanted to hear yet. Just experiment with stuff at a low entry fee. Pay. Back in the day, I think we did $2 or $3 cover charge to come see a band. I booked out of 7 states, college circuit stuff. Hardly anything was local, so they were just like, I've never heard of any of this. I'm like, yeah, you won't, but trust me, it's good. And then 99% of the time, they're like, wow.
One of the bands love that.
Yeah, and it helped us put bands down the road, and honestly, it made a lot of sense because a lot of these guys are traveling. They just need gas money and some food, and we told them like,
beers,
we'll pay you, we'll let you have drinks while you're playing, we'll feed you, we'll feed you guys. They're like, we would have said yes to any one of the 3. I had no idea how hungry they actually were. I'm like, oh, well, you get all 3, and it helped us build a great reputation. They would come out of Nashville and have.
Do you book those bands?
I used to do it. I have my night manager does most of it now, but we're honestly still working with a lot of the bands that are still around from when I did the booking and stuff. For
Party
years.
at the Moon Tower.
Yeah. Those guys like Kerry Hudson. And those
I write
guys.
his insurance.
Yeah. Okay.
And he was talking about his whole band's sober now.
Yeah. I didn't know the whole band was great. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're moving into a whole, like I'm saying, this whole, and they are one of the great bands. Look at Tony Williams at Fort Bayou Slim. Yeah. So he's been sober for, there's a lot of people that are just.
And those are some of our first bands to ever, like, these guys used our stage as a practice ground to see if they were even any good.
It was like open mic.
And and the crowd loved them, and they were local boys, so they could bring a crowd, which is the one drawback to me booking out of state was that I don't have the way to reach the local crowd as much, because no one's ever heard of these bands. They're like, you kind of had to take a risk to show up. But with Tony and those guys, they're all local boys. They could fill our room up on every single show.
I mean, they're ripped. I mean, they're.
Oh, it's fun. They're good. Like, and just local. They're also super talented.
Another thing too is
don't worry about it. It's all good.
No, but the other thing is you walk there, and this is like a home for a lot of people too. You walk in there. Shout out to Johnny. I mean, when I started going to the grocery, I met Johnny because Johnny has this mustache. He just has this personality, and he has this very good sense of humor. And now he's he's always up at the grocery, but him and his wife created Champion Club printing, and his band is Champion Club. And he wears like the full band gear set up, and he's got that vibe to him. And he's and like right now he's well, it's over with now, but he was doing a D&D at summer camp for kids. He's teaching kids how to screen print.
He printed these shirts I'm wearing.
He prints
all my shirts.
But it's like these people come out, like you can walk into the grocery. I can tell you right now, and you know, I went to Full Sail, so I love being creative too, but I know for a fact I can walk in there and I can look over and I could go, hey, Ben Prisk.
Yeah, you'll recognize some.
You can start pulling people and you're like, hey, Ben Prisk did illustrator for Squidbillies and Aquatine, but you can go to the grocery on a Tuesday or Wednesday, and him, Johnny, and all these people will be like, if they had a real idea, like they can do it like that. And it's a creative place to be, and you're seeing more of that. Saying there's a lot of people that, you know, I'm big on this THC stuff because, you know, I would say the grocery was one of the first ones to really take the seltzers, and
they've been an amazing account.
But they're putting it right next to all the beers.
Yeah,
they're not. If you don't need it, it's front and center.
I mean, is there a better place for that beverage type? You know,
maybe. I think they're all. I mean, I think the other spaces down there have just as much of a market for that. They may not know it or not. Our crowd definitely. We're just a bunch of talkers and friends and whatever. So if one person gets into something, we really dig into it and find out why. Like, why do you like this? Why do you think? I can sell it to them, you know? I'm like, hey, man, this is something that's good for me. I didn't wake up with a hangover yesterday and was hanging out with you guys all night.
Paint and stuff.
And they're like, how did you? Yeah, they're like, how did you do that? I was like, well, I drank these instead of those, you know? And so it was pretty easy. But
I think the industry is too now is like, I think it needs to go back to that style of when you do have a business or bar or a product like you sell, like it. I know everything you do is made with love. I mean, when all this stuff happened, I looked at you and I could see you're just like, this is my baby. Like what, you know, you can go back with your wife and do, you know, continue to, you know, restore homes. But like to you, it's like, I can see in your eyes, well, this is my baby.
Yeah.
You know, this is something that I wanted to make a difference. And I think also too is, like I said, if you look at the Noble Labs products, this is a straight up thing. It's like, it's made with love. Like you're not going to send out a frozen hamburger.
Right.
And that's the thing too, is that's what catching on is like, you're not doing him. I didn't know. I thought you would have some frozen stuff.
We do extract frozen cannabis though.
True that.
Which is a very good thing.
That's a good thing. Yeah. No, granted, for all transparency, we do not, we buy our cheese sticks. I mean, I'm not doing homemade cheese sticks.
Right.
My grandma's not back there battering that okra, you know, but in general, all of our other stuff, and we cut our own foods, you know, we try to do everything we can, especially if we do daily specials.
But you can go a cheaper route and cut a lot of costs and make more
absolutely.
money.
Yeah. Without a doubt. And for us, our number one seller, and it's just ridiculous because like the grocery burger is our number one seller at say 77% of our market is that one burger. That's not including like the mushroom Swiss burger, the Tijuana burger, the Buffalo Blue burger, which are variants basically of that. That's not even counting those. Just that one sandwich is 77% of the market that we do for our sandwich choices. And it blew my mind. Like I knew we sell a lot of them and people like them, but yeah, it was like wicked. It absorbs all the other things under it completely.
Could it be people like going to Ocean Springs, especially with you being like one of the few down there, and people going on vacation and coming to the grocery and then leaving, and then, you know, from another state coming back? And
a bit. I think too, like we have incredible staff too, and I think that when someone says, "Hey, what's good?" they know that's a winner, and they're going to recommend something that is a crowd. Yeah. And they get that question too, like, hey, what's your specialty? You know, what do you guys do the best at? And that's the first thing out of the gate. And they know that they can sell that, and that client's not going to be unhappy with the sandwich. It may not be the best burger they've ever had. No one's claiming that, but it'll be solid. Yeah. They're not going to hate it.
They'll be,
they feel like it was worth the money that they spent.
Are your fries yours?
Oh yeah. We cut all those every day. Yeah.
Now that's kind of, and it's
that was another necessity.
Labor of love.
You don't understand, dude. Like
it's a lot of work to get them like that. We put as little work as possible into it just because we don't like processing things. But it came out of, I used to buy them the 6 months we were open pre-Katrina. I think we did it right after right after Katrina. But we were buying just the brown paper bag of frozen fries, and they're fine and dandy. I had a friend come in, and she's vegetarian, so she was like, "Hey, I want to get, what do you have vegetarian on your menu?" And I'm like, "I'll get you some fries or whatever." And she goes, "You better check them, because a lot of the fries have like beef ingredients and weird stuff." I'm like, "What?" And sure enough, I don't think I found any meat ingredients in this, but it had probably 15 ingredients in a bag of
fries.
In a bag of frozen fries. It had an ingredient list that long I couldn't pronounce most of it. So I'm like, this just doesn't seem like makes any sense.
What are those things?
So we just started cutting our own potatoes, and we didn't know how to do them. I Googled every which way you could do them, and some of it was super labor intensive, like salt brining it overnight, and hot water, cold water, parboil them, bake them, fry them, half fry them, and then put them on a sheet. I was like, I'll tell the whole world our secret. We cut them, we put them in a bucket of water in the walk-in for one day, and we pull them out and we throw them in the fryer. And that's it. And they're just great. They're just good ass fries.
I love the fact that you're like, I was sitting on the beach looking at the sunset to come up with my ingredients. You're like, nah, I just Googled.
It's all whatever's the easiest and doesn't suck. And then we've kind of narrowed that down to our menu at this point. But yeah, we just don't have a lot of time. We run a small crew. I mean, you mentioned we have pretty good ticket times. On a good day, we'll have 3 people in there making food for the whole restaurant. That's a lot of work to put out. We'll put out well over $1 million in product with 3 people in the kitchen doing that work.
What's the environment?
And 3 servers on the floor handling the whole business,
And you seem like you have a team that doesn't really mess with your cash register either.
No, I mean, I got some employees that have been there for, I don't know, I think going on 9 or 10 years now, and played maybe 12 years even for Garrett. I think he's been there 12 years. Forgive me for not remembering. It's just been so long. Yeah. It's like, we don't have a lot of turnover. We try to wait it out. Like, we'll be kind of shorthand and say, hey, we should probably hire somebody. And sometimes our staff will be like, what do you need us to step up to? So we don't have to do that right now. So how about we just do this ourselves for a while and really decide if we need somebody or something like that. So we try to run all the decisions through our employees and make sure they're comfortable with what we're doing. I mean, once in a while you got to be the boss, put your foot down about stuff. But in general, I can't do that work without them. I need them.
Receive their input.
Yeah. I make a terrible margarita. You know what I mean? Like, I need someone good at this. I need someone to do it. You're
not wearing a chef coat.
No, and we don't say the yes chef stuff. And we're just a bunch of cooks. We're a bunch of dudes. We like to hang out with each other when we're working, when we're not working. Almost all of our crew's family men now and stuff. So it's important to us that we grow this business organically and don't, have any collateral damage along the way. And in business, it's hard not to have some kind of collateral damage, and it's important to me to try to minimize that as much as possible, whether it's by turning people the right direction if they start leaning the wrong way, or if it's where you can help them out of a situation or a bind or something. We try to invest in them if we can.
What would you think about with you starting Noble now? I mean, how many staff you got now?
There's 18 of us.
Did you ever have employees before this? To the level of all the strict rules?
No.
Yeah, I hadn't either until I did the business.
No.
It's all brand new space to me too.
Oh, he can't just go out and he has to go get a catering permit. You can't just go out and sell beer.
I mean, I'd hire my nephews here and there for stuff, but no, I mean, I didn't have a payroll before this. No.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing too. Is I was like the director of marketing for the Blowfly, and that was I enjoyed pushing the numbers, making sure that you got to make a certain amount of money a day to keep the doors open. So for me, I would just remember Dylan going through, and I would be like, they need we made money off of desserts. And they wanted to do dessert to cabinets, and because we were new people coming in, they had older servers and stuff. But then it was just like, I was getting a situation where they start taking smoke breaks between customers. Like, they would literally just go have a cigarette and then cut it out with their friend. And I was like, that's not happening. Yeah. And then it was just little stuff like that. And I got to a point where I remember it was like my last week, and I knew that I took numbers. Like, I was very aggressive with numbers. Like, we did like the Christmas on the Bayou. Well, I was like, you know what? We're just going to do gumbo and a 12 ounce cup or whatever. We're going to sell it for $8. So I would come up with ideas like, let's just keep it simple during events, And we were doing good on our numbers, but the big thing that I was dealing with was like, I felt like I understand how my dad was because he was the general manager of a car lot, but I felt like everybody's father. And it's just something at that time because there's just a lot of bickering, and it's the food industry because it's like,
wild.
I can't show up today, and I'm fighting with Becky, and the cooks are fighting in the back, and it's just like I just was like, what's our goal? And I was just it constantly, it was so challenging, and I was just like, if okay to never see the back of a kitchen.
Yeah, it's
like,
tough. There's all sorts of it's more than just the work. Let's just say that.
It's
always more than the work.
So I've helped the boys at the district, shout out to the district, but I've helped the boys, and they're a small crew, and it's a lot more love. So, but when you're going with a bigger staff, and there's a lot more moving parts, and it was just like so much for me that I was like, because we were a bar too, but it's just, it was the feedback, I'm gonna leave you a bad review.
And
it's called human resources for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all human.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think for me that was the point though, was like, I know that I wasn't good at it. I was like, 'cause if I got a goal, I'm just going to do it. Like, I'm just going to do it. Do you feel that situation that with your industry, do people love coming to work like they do going to the grocery? Are people enjoying that industry?
Yeah, I think so. We're in our third year now. We've got it pretty dialed in. We've got the personalities that mesh. I think we're more of a family, really. And that's taken some time to develop, but oh my goodness, yeah. We're just seeing less and less turnover. But it took a minute. I mean, we're all learning. I was. We all were. So we're all sort of in the same boat.
That's definitely something I feel like I had to learn along the way, was that everyone's going to, especially in this line of work, like kitchen work, that kind of thing, where it's a pretty intense environment. We hustle when it's getting done. The work is getting done fast and hard. It's hot, tempers flare, that kind of thing. But I think what I had to learn as an owner was to step back a little bit and just kind of bite my tongue sometimes and not be so angry about the moment and look at the big picture and be like, yeah, that guy's messing up right now, or whatever's in the moment. But in the big picture, I have to weigh in all this work. When the last time I painted the floors and said, hey, is anybody can come help? He shows up. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just run everything on these sterile office guidelines like you would at Wall Street or something like that, where everybody's it's just way too dynamic of a business. And I have had to learn along the way to like look at big picture stuff, like, hey, yeah, that guy's doing a terrible job right now at something, like say he's having a bad week. And then as we mature, I guess, as owners, we say, why is this guy having a bad week? Rather than saying, get your shit together.
What's going on?
Yeah, like, get your shit together. You're going to lose this job. I'll replace you. It's more like, what can I do to get, what do you need? Do you need more time at your family? Is the money thing a problem? Is there anything I can do? Some of it I just can't do because, we have constraints on everything.
Do you have a business model? Like, I mean, a manual? No, nothing like that?
No, we see to the pants, everything. Ask my accountant. It's a shoebox I dump on a table. And she's like,
I think for you, though, being the owner,
like, I want you to die.
But I think for you being the owner, though, like, it's different. Like, for me, I was a director, and then I had an owner that was just like, money, 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 money.
I have to be like that too at times.
But no, this one, it was counting your pennies every time somebody, like, if they wanted something, I pay out of my pocket.
Oh, yeah.
He just wouldn't, like, he just not, I mean, had a couple companies, but like, he was more into.
Yeah, I don't have any interest in growing really for this. Like, my whole thing wasn't to start this company and build this box, get everyone to like it, then move that box all over the place. My thing was just to have a little pub where my friends could hang out and drink beers, and hopefully I pay my house note. Like, that's kind of the end goal. We're there. I'm paying my house note. I'm never gonna be rich out of this. I've accepted that. Sometimes I want to be. Who doesn't? But at the end of the day, I don't hate my boss. Sometimes I'm burned out, of course, but at the end of the day, I'm proud of what we created. It's not been just me. It's been this group of people that's been organically passing through my life, to get to where we are now. So if I really stop and do a personal inventory, I have nothing to complain about. Sure, I want to be rich or whatever, all that kind of stuff.
Did your mom know this though? When you said you had these ideas with your mom, so she's going to back you, and then you lose her. Did you feel like your mom kind of knew this was your direction of like, you're going to you're going to do a cool little pub?
I don't know. I think she blindly trusted me just so, you know, and I was doing archaeology before I was doing this, and I was complaining every day about, I was working on government contracts on like experimental test missile ranges and stuff. Nothing dangerous, but just like bureaucracy, red tape, going through border patrols and going through all kind of inspections and stuff, you know, like clearance type stuff. And
this is fascinating.
to dig a hole to look for artifacts, right?
Yes.
So I'm like, what do we, it's felt like such paperwork. I mean, we would get fiber optic jobs where we're monitoring a fiber optic pipeline that's going in, making sure there's nothing they're going to disturb along the way. It's interesting work on the surface, but then you get to the fiber optic thing and I'm like, hey, I'm here to monitor that site or look through that pile of stuff you just dug out with a backhoe. And they're like, you're not going to find anything, because if you find anything, it's $100,000 an hour that this machine's not running, you know? And I'm like, oh, so we're not doing science, we're doing business. Gotcha. Thought we were doing science, you know? And had a lot of that, got disillusioned with it. We got some coordinates to go and do a survey, and it was already a parking lot. And so I'm writing this report up. I'm like, how does we even do this? Like, oh yeah. It's like, we didn't have time to wait on the survey to finish. So we had to have this parking, we had to have this building built. So we just built it. And I'm like, well, I'm supposed to have surveyed this to tell you it's okay to build it. And they're like, womp womp.
We're gonna have to knock that building down. And,
yeah, they're like, we are AT&T, sir. You're gonna go to jail or something if you don't sign off on
so
this.
This was your thing. You were gonna go do that forever.
Yeah. I went to school for it. I loved it. I was even as a little kid, I was like Indiana Jones, like all
That's
that
awesome.
stuff.
I have a buddy, Kevin. He used to rap with David Banner, and he owns Morgan Square, right there about Fly Llama, that whole development.
Oh yeah.
And he does surveying.
Mhm.
He's found like 800 bodies. But
Yeah.
like, he owns all them properties on Howard Avenue.
Yeah.
And people are like, who's the owner of all this? But Kevin kind of keeps to himself. So you're like,
the most indiscreet guy you'd ever meet. He's quiet.
he's a soccer referee. He runs
We worked together in Savannah, Georgia.
you and Kevin?
Yeah, we had the same birthday. Yeah.
But he's a big fan of the show, and I'm going to get him back on. But like, we're standing around, people are like, who owns all this stuff? Because it's a big area downtown, and Kevin's doing this.
Yeah.
All right, see you later, man.
He's waiting to find out.
That's
Be
my
like,
cue.
Yeah, he's like
because they need to cut all this grass around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you're like, I don't know who that is. Yeah, it's ratty, isn't it? Look at that.
So you know Kevin. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he,
Really good friends with Kevin.
you know, I think that's fascinating. Now I LinkedIn you. You did something before you and your wife did something. You were a part of I'll pull the name of it, but what'd you do before the houses?
Are you referring to Memphis Coin Exchange?
Was it Memphis Coin? Hold on, see on here on LinkedIn. Hold on.
Really,
Memphis Coin. What is that? That's
Well,
curious.
I worked for a bank. I worked for a bank in Memphis, and they had a U.S. Mint distribution department.
Okay.
So they sold coins throughout their bank.
Were they like special coins or just coins?
They
Like
were
bullion and stuff.
Yeah, they did that. They did bullion coins, but it was
What's a bullion coin?
it's like precious metal, like gold, silver, platinum.
Yeah, like a little minted,
Okay.
whatever. Yeah.
But it was all uncirculated or proof sets.
Right.
But all the branches, I mean, the bank had several branches, and they were using their lobbies as a retail outlet for licensed mint products.
Okay.
And I was just, wrong place, wrong time.
Never thought about
You're
robbing
the
that
guy.
place. I'm just kidding.
I was once in a vault when I was being robbed.
So here it is. It's I'm gonna mess this up. It's bioscience of.
So Biosciences of Mississippi.
This says bioscience of Louisiana.
Yeah, okay. So that was the corporate name of our initiative for medical cannabis.
Okay.
So, our corporate entity is Biosciences of Mississippi. Our DBA is Noble Labs.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'm just learning. The more you know, it's like it's like a Snapple. It's like now you coming out being an Indiana Jones or the guy from
I mean, well, that was 20
If
years
you found
ago.
any coins, call me.
So do you think that's why your dad was kind of disappointed or just kind of like whatever? Because you're like,
He wasn't disappointed, but I have thrown so many stupid ideas against the wall. I'm just surprised this one stuck, because I don't really know. I got disillusioned with the archaeology side of it. I was working for cultural resource management firm. So it is about the money. It's about getting the survey done, getting that company okay to do whatever they need to do, whoever it is. And you lose a lot in the science. And you can go the other route and go to academia, when you got dental picks and
was there enough money to like live off of? Or?
Yeah, money was okay. Well, I was younger then, and so I was kind of like a gun for hire. I would take contract work, and the contracts could be a couple of years. I worked on Eglin Air Force Base. It was a revolving contract. So every 10 years, you're required to survey federal land archaeologically every 10 years. Eglin is so big, they would hire just enough people to take 10 years to survey it. So it's this revolving work. And it's pretty boring. There's not much to find out there. Everything's been found already. They've been surveying it for decades, so nothing too exciting out there. But that opened doors to other places like bombing ranges and army bases. And I lived on a lot of different army bases. We got certified to work on those spots. So I didn't even have a dog then. So yeah, I could put everything I owned in a Honda Prelude and be across the country in a day's notice. And so that's kind of what my life was for a while, which just kind of, if I didn't want to work, I just wouldn't work. I'd find another contract. There's a website you can just sign up, throw your resume on. They'll hire you in a couple of days.
Could you still do it if you ever wanted to do it?
Physically, no. It's hard. What we were doing, the phase 1 stuff, is a 50 centimeter hole square by a meter deep. So like, I guess like a half yard of dirt. 20 of those per person per day was our quota. Digging it, screening it by hand, backfilling it, GPSing it, photographing it, graphing it on your paperwork, science, going to the next one, do that 20 times in a day. It's in the best shape of my life, but I looked at the guy my age working with the crew, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to be him. And, my crew chief has got so much work on his shoulders and so much responsibility managing like 6 or 8 of us idiots out there in the woods being idiots all the time and stuff. And he was making like $2 an hour more than me. I wouldn't want that job for the work he had to put in. And so I just didn't see a future in it, and
you never know. We might have a grocery / Kevin dig day.
I love it. Kevin tried to give
supply the lotion for the sore back.
Kevin tried to give me a screen the other day, and I'm like, I'm not sure if I ever want to touch one again. Yeah, I mean, you get blisters that you grow your own gloves after doing that job
this
for a while.
In this situation, and I know you need to get back because we're at about 2 hours.
Oh,
great, man! Okay. That flew.
Well, it's just if you have any questions, reach out. You can reach out to me, and I'll get you in contact with both the guys. I would say if you're going to do anything from scratch, just both of them done. I knew when I said I want to get Jeff on, I'm like, y'all have a similar story in different ways.
Yeah, no.
I mean, you're working every day, but both of y'all, I can tell right now, y'all both love what y'all do.
Yeah, you couldn't do it. The stress would be. If I was answering anyone else for this, oh man, the stress would be too much. Like I can fail myself. I do it every day. So I can handle it, but man, I wouldn't want this any other way, honestly.
Well, look, I mean, it's definitely fun to be a part of the process and making the thing.
Yeah.
But to have it in a place like the grocery is really kind of why we do it.
Yeah. And for me, it's we never started with any intentions to do anything, but just like I said, just have some friends around, hire some people, pay some bills. We can all just exist. And it's been so well received. You're just humbled by gratitude, which makes you want to do put more of the work in, and anything you start from the ground up like that you can just fully embed yourself into it, you're going to get a better product. I mean, you guys have exactly that situation where you're proud of what you do, and we both are pretty lucky that everyone that tries the things that we do, really, most of them kind of like it, and I just couldn't be more grateful as far as that goes, because we got lucky. There's no other way to redo this. If I had to do this twice, I don't know if I would make it or not.
I don't mind the requirement that makes us do all of the things from start to finish.
Right.
Yes, we have to, but I don't know if we would do it any other way if we didn't have to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know that we can have. I definitely going to get you on for a part 2.
Sure.
I think this is very educational. I love this shit. And but I also want to say something, guys. Reach out. Support. If you got, if you're missing Nobles off the shelf, let us know about it. Jeff will get you straight into who you can talk to, contact. But just if you got any stories about Noble, let us know about it. If you got stories on the grocery, let us know about it. I mean, that's yeah, but I mean,
for sure.
But and also have to finish this off too is I appreciate y'all supporting the show. I've been getting a lot of feedback. We're going back to having this kind of style of I just love hearing people's stories. But it's not overnight. What I learned is I've done 309 episodes. everybody that I've talked to, that one thing I've learned is the ones that are, happy and successful. It's not always about money, but it never happened overnight. It's never I've never had a person it ever happen overnight. I mean, we had Jessie Mayweather on the other night, and she was the Orbit Gum Girl, Lint Liquor. And before people even, before she even walked in or even had, she told a story to me that you have to have a referral to have an agent. She didn't have an agent. She learned real quick in her Ford Escort running around LA that it wasn't that easy. And she spent over 20 years with a career there. But she's coming over tomorrow, so she's using my light, so she can do an audition.
Awesome.
So just make sure that it's like, don't think it's going to happen tomorrow. If you want to start a podcast, I started doing it 7 years ago. But make sure. But I'm doing my podcast the way I want to do my podcast. I'm not doing my podcast because I want to sell you something, And I feel like I really appreciate y'all doing this. And man, you don't have to go to college to be successful. You just got to work hard. You got to have an idea, and you got to get up every day and at least push yourself. Also, Crew Athena, I gotta say this to y'all. I love y'all so much. Crew Athena, we hit some good stuff the other day. Let me pull up my design. I'm gonna drop this photo of the team right here. See right here. I'm still learning this new software, so bear with me, guys. Is this one right here? Up here. So this is Crew of Athena. This Saturday at the Grateful Dead event at the Shuckers, they gave us $10,000. Appreciate y'all. It's the Crew of Athena. All that money goes to Memorial because this year we got free mammograms. We don't have a bank account. All the money raised goes to helping people in need. But keep in mind, October 18th, the Pink Dress Run, we have at the run, sign up for the run at pinkdressrun.com. And if you have an opportunity to not make excuses if you're feeling a lump or you're going through something. You can't make excuses because we're going to be out there, and don't wait. That's another thing too, is the whole idea behind, me and John doing the free mammograms is like, we're trying to catch it early. I'll tell you right now, the best thing to do is catch it early because you don't want to catch it late. Reach out to me too about that. But guys, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
And I love you guys and take care. Love you, Mom.
Cheers.